The solitary wooden house stands motionless amid the vast pine forest. A life is unfolding. Dawn has not yet arrived, but he is already awake. The weight of the large log presses on his shoulders, each weary step dragging the source of life. He knows that to keep the fire burning and the house standing, he must trade his sweat and strength. In solitude, this is all he has: hope and the will to survive. The sound of the axe echoes, decisively striking the log head, creating notches for stability. He is not just building, but creating a solid foundation, resisting the forest's damp soil. Using fresh moss to fill the gaps is a natural insulation trick, preserving precious warmth inside. Each log placed down is an added layer of protection, buying peace in the cold, wild forest. The structure gradually takes shape. He skillfully carves the joint points, ensuring each log fits tightly. The initially low wall frame quickly rises, requiring him to venture deeper into the forest for materials. The view further into the moss-covered depths and pine trees makes him ponder. Perfection in each joint is the key to staying warm on frosty nights. A simple lesson for survival. The work continues without rest as afternoon shadows descend, bringing freezing humidity. He quickly dons a warm jacket, focusing his strength to fell a straight tree, erecting 2 sturdy diagonal support posts, forming a load-bearing A-frame. This is the roof section, the most important shelter. Every structure must be strong enough against forest winds, like building trust amid harsh nature. He is racing against time. The difficulty increases as he must carry long, heavy logs up the house frame. Standing atop the wooden wall, he carefully fits the main crossbeam into the V-notch, securing the roof frame firmly. Each rhythmic hammer strike rings out steadily, the pulse of willpower. The A-frame roof, though simple, is the most basic technique for bearing snow loads and dispersing rainwater in the forest. He places small parallel logs on the A-frame to create rafters where thick covering material will rest. Each piece of wood is arranged precisely, integrated with the already built cabin wall structure. He no longer thinks about fatigue. Only his eyes focus on the interior space, shaping his warm shelter. The sun is setting, forcing him to utilize every precious minute before darkness swallows the forest. Back on the ground, he begins concentrating on building the final wall layer. His back aches terribly, but his hands remain skilled with the axe and saw, decisive. Each short, uniform log is placed to fill the wall gaps, especially the gable section, creating the roof slope. The basic structure is complete. He steps inside, drives a small stake into the ground, marking the sleeping area's position. Lying down to test it, feeling the enclosed space for the first time, his face relaxes with satisfaction, accompanied by a thumbs-up gesture, showing success. This is a brief rest moment during the journey. He understands that the hardest work, roofing, still awaits ahead. The sun rises higher, illuminating the moss-saturated forest. After resting to regain strength, he brings out old corrugated metal sheets from storage. This is the only industrial material, ensuring absolute waterproofing. He carefully measures a small glass pane, preparing to install it as a window where daylight will seep in. Combining natural and modern materials is a smart choice to optimize survival capability. Back inside, he begins nailing additional small logs into the unfinished gable section. These are the final axe cuts for the house's rib frame. Standing among the four walls, he takes a deep breath, checking the tightness of each joint. He knows that despite all the hardship, the satisfaction of creating shelter with bare hands is priceless. The sleeping area is ready. Contrasting with the previous heavy work, now is time for meticulousness. He focuses on carving and fitting logs to create the window frame precisely according to design. Brilliant sunlight through leaf gaps illuminates the completed gable section, highlighting the structure. This installation not only creates light, but is also a crucial element for ventilation, preventing moisture accumulation inside the cabin. Essential survival knowledge. The final work is filling wall gaps. He carefully places each log in position, creating a solid wall with no remaining gaps. He meticulously carves ill-fitting logs, ensuring maximum tightness and sturdiness for the house. Each wood layer placed is an affirmation of his perseverance and skill. The structure grows higher. He needs to erect a temporary ladder to continue roofing. He brings small logs up high, arranging them densely to create a base for roofing material. Then, he carefully installs the heavy, old metal sheet onto the roof frame, ensuring it is absolutely fixed. The first metal sheet is secured, creating a sloped waterproof plane. He uses a handsaw to cut a neat square window frame in the gable, ensuring the size fits the glass pane. His eyes look through the window opening toward the deep forest. From inside, the house is not just shelter, but a solitary fortress where he can observe and defend. The sense of safety increases exponentially. The window glass pane has been installed, reflecting the forest's image. He spends the final time stuffing fresh moss into remaining wall gaps, reinforcing the crude insulation layer. He knows well that a house needs not only solid structure, but also warmth to protect the body from damp cold. Each strand of moss stuffed in is an effort to fully integrate with nature while remaining sheltered. The moss stuffing stage is complete. He steps inside, places a wooden plank on prepared support beams, creating a kitchen counter or storage surface. He arranges 2 small black spice jars and the familiar kuksa wooden cup on it. These are small but important details, marking the transition from mere shelter to a cozy, orderly living space. Inside the wooden house is now a warm world. He gathers chopped firewood into a corner, ready for cold nights. The loyal dog lies quietly on the green moss mat, sharing solitude and peace. He returns to the forest, continuing to search for and collect dry firewood. He cuts and ties small logs together, completing the auxiliary ladder to the roof. He uses it to climb up, pushing hard to raise the final metal sheet to the highest position. Then, he carefully installs the chimney pipe, the final detail making the difference between shelter and long-term survival. The chimney not only expels smoke, but also creates air circulation, preventing suffocation and maintaining oxygen, the most critical survival element. The house now has a complete, sturdy roof covering under the bright blue sky and sunshine. He continues installing the flat metal section at the roof peak, further reinforcing waterproofing capability. Then, he descends the ladder, bends down to pick up excess metal pieces, stacking them carefully. The structure stands prominently amid the forest, displaying determination. He puts away the saw and axe, then opens the tool bag, carefully checking remaining supplies. Now is time to arrange personal items, from screws to tools, on temporary planks. He nails an additional small log horizontally across the window, helping secure the glass pane. Using a small nail, he drills a hole in the flat wood board, preparing for hinge installation for the opening window. This is a detail requiring absolute precision, ensuring the window can open for air and close for insulation. Each small, decisive hammer strike shows high concentration, perfecting the fortress. He uses a folding saw to cut the thin plank into a triangular shape, installing it as a window shield frame, creating an additional protective layer against cold wind. After securing the frame with screws, he steps back to observe, his contemplative gaze sweeping across the completed house. Having a safe, convenient window helps him connect with the outside world while controlling the interior environment, an important psychological factor. The decoration phase begins. He paints the window frame and some small branches bright red, creating striking accents amid the dark brown of wood and forest moss green. He returns to gathering firewood, dragging dead tree trunks. After days of intense work, the moment of decorating, creating beauty is necessary to maintain spirit, affirming ownership of his space. He places a thick moss patch on the windowsill, a blend of convenience and nature. Looking through the glass, viewers see him preparing an outdoor fire, a familiar and necessary action. He drives a fixed stake into the large log, creating a support point for splitting firewood. Dry firewood pieces are arranged neatly, forming a storage pile right next to the house. He cuts a small log to make a support rack for the field stove. Having a dry firewood rack is a smart way to prevent ground moisture from seeping up, ensuring firewood is always ready to ignite, regardless of weather. He drives thin wooden wedges between dry firewood pieces to reinforce their stability. Then, he begins installing the main door using upright round logs. Using metal hinges, he secures the door to the frame, ensuring privacy and safety when night falls. The simple round log door creates a sense of solidity, preventing wild animals from entering and keeping warmth inside the cabin. The wooden door is complete, standing sturdy when closed. Though small gaps still let light through, it's private enough for a quiet night. He adds a simple horizontal latch made from a branch, serving as a natural lock inside. Looking out from inside, he continues adding essential interior details. He neatly cuts a wooden plank for the windowsill, ensuring flatness for placing items. The highlight is hanging a pink lace cloth on the window, bringing privacy and a familiar feeling to the space. Even in the wilderness, creating a personal space is indispensable spiritual medicine for maintaining sanity. The house is now complete structurally and aesthetically. He sets up the ladder to the metal roof, adding small logs wedged into gaps at the roof peak to optimize waterproofing capability. He steps back, leaning against the ladder, looking up at the color-changing sky. It's a rare resting moment, a feeling of safety and pride in labor achievements, preparing for the next survival challenge. The final work is mixing clay to make an insulation layer for the stove. He pulls a crude cart, carrying soil and water. Mixing clay with dry grass and pine needles is an ancient construction technique to increase adhesion and insulation capability. Work continues under brilliant sunshine. He mixes clay and dry grass evenly on a tarp, preparing for the fireplace. Then, he begins erecting uprights for the outdoor stove. He drives a straight log deep into the ground, using a horizontal log as a support base. Building a fire separate from the house is a smart decision to ensure fire safety and prevent smoke from entering inside. He reinforces horizontal supports for the stove, ensuring stability when cooking. With scissors, he skillfully cuts a large plastic bottle into a field water container. He screws a small piece of wood to the bottle bottom, creating an anchor point to tie tightly to the tree trunk. This is a smart detail, recycling plastic waste to create a temporary water storage system, serving daily living and cooking needs. He installs a simple rainwater gutter on the stove post. After filling the plastic bottle, he hangs it on the rack, creating a convenient hand-washing faucet. He repurposes old wood into a bird feeder, covering the roof with moss for camouflage and food storage. He uses wooden molds and a pestle to create mud bricks mixed with straw fibers, stacking them neatly on a tarp to dry in the sun. This is natural insulation material, perfect for the fireplace. Inside the house, he rechecks the windowsill, feeling the privacy. Back inside, he begins digging a deep rectangular pit, creating space for the fireplace. He uses a mini shovel to carefully scoop each layer of soil. After digging deep, he places small, solid logs as the stove foundation. Building the fireplace below ground level, against the wooden wall, will help efficiently utilize radiated heat to warm the entire cabin space. He brings prepared wooden planks inside, placing them fixed on the stove base. This is a solid foundation layer for placing insulation material. He quickly uses the clay-mud mixture to plaster the wooden plank surface, smoothing carefully. This clay plaster layer will efficiently absorb and retain heat, creating a safe fire, transmitting warmth into the cabin throughout the long night. He uses a flat, curved metal sheet placed on the smoothed mud layer, creating the main stove surface. Then, he begins stacking dried mud bricks on top. Each brick is bonded with a thin mud layer, forming solid furnace walls. The stove must withstand high temperatures and keep embers safe. Using mud bricks is the perfect technique for building a sustainable fireplace. He uses a flat metal sheet, bending it to form the fireplace shell. The metal sheet is carefully flattened and shaped, creating a hollow frame. Using metal for the furnace shell not only creates a solid appearance, but also helps distribute heat evenly, keeping the cabin warm in harsh weather conditions. He brings each dried mud brick inside, carefully stacking them around the fireplace's metal frame. Wet mud layer is used as mortar, filling gaps between bricks and metal shell. The fireplace is gradually forming in the dark cabin. He continues stacking mud bricks higher, forming complete furnace walls, carefully plastering mud into every gap. He pours loose mud into gaps between the stove and wooden wall, ensuring absolute tightness. The fireplace is nearly ready. Outside, he carefully uses an axe to adjust a round metal sheet, perhaps a stove lid. He uses force and precision to shape the metal sheet, ensuring it fits the vent hole. Inside, fireplace construction continues. He skillfully wedges in the final bricks. The combination of metal and mud soil is the balance between thermal efficiency and maximum utilization of what nature and scrap materials provide. He installs an additional curved metal bar inside the furnace, creating a wood support rack. Then, he places the adjusted round metal sheet on top, forming a stove lid. Using mud to replaster remaining gaps, he ensures uniform insulation. He cuts a round hole in the metal roof to install the chimney pipe. Flexible metal pipe is threaded through the hole, connecting directly to the fireplace. He uses mud soil to seal all gaps around the pipe, preventing smoke from entering the cabin and securing the pipe firmly. This is an extremely important detail for health and safety. Controlling smoke is the secret to transforming shelter into a livable home long-term. He uses his hands to press the mud and dry straw mixture tightly into empty spaces around the stove, ensuring no heat or smoke leakage. Then, he goes outside, stands on the ladder, sprays silver paint on the chimney pipe, enhancing heat resistance and aesthetics. The clay and metal fireplace is testament to perseverance. It's not just a heat source, but the house's center, maintaining life and hope. He drives a fixed stake into a large log, creating a support point for crafting a new door handle. He uses axe and nails to firmly secure the carved log to the side gable door. This is a small auxiliary door used for ventilation or retrieving items. The tall chimney pipe not only helps expel smoke far away, but also improves circulation, creating a continuous hot airflow, helping the fireplace operate more stably and safely. He installs a rain cap on the chimney top, then sprays bright red paint over the entire pipe, highlighting this detail amid green foliage. He uses steel wire to secure the cap. The homemade round log ladder is also secured tightly. The red chimney is not just an accent, but a symbol of hope. It shows a heat source is ready, fighting against the forest's coldness. He cuts many small round wood slices from branches, nailing them in the center, creating simple but useful hanging hooks. He continues plastering fine mud on the fireplace's interior walls, finishing the surface and ensuring insulation. The mud plastering stage for the fireplace is nearly complete. He uses his hand to spread fine mud on the rough brick surface, creating a rounded shape, enhancing heat retention capability. Each mud layer is compressed tightly, filling every gap. The fireplace is becoming a solid heat wall. It is the cabin's heart, where warmth will spread, dispelling the cold and dampness characteristic of deep forest. He spreads the final fine mud layer on the fireplace surface, smoothing and creating a softly curved dome shape. He attaches small round wood slices to the stove, possibly hooks or decorative accents. The completed fireplace stands prominently in gentle light through the window. It's not just labor's achievement, but also testament to the never-give-up spirit in the personal survival journey. The project enters the absolute cold resistance phase. He wedges additional large round logs on both sides of the entrance, forming a small vestibule. Then, he uses precisely cut moss green tarp fabric, installing it inside the round log door. The final interior project is the floor. He uses a large uprooted tree, cutting it into many thick, round slices. These wood slices are meticulously stacked on each other, creating a natural floor layer, isolated from the damp ground surface. The round wood floor is not only clean, but also an effective insulation layer, increasing comfort and hygiene. Determining factors for long-term quality of life. The wooden house has transformed into a cozy space. He spreads a blanket on the sleeping area and begins kindling fire. He gathers dry pine needles, places them in the fireplace, lights them, and the flame bursts forth, bringing warm orange color. The moment fire burns is the most complete achievement. It's not just light, heat, but life itself, dispelling all fears of loneliness and forest nights cold. The fire burns warmly in the clay stove, reflecting on the round wood floor, bringing an unprecedented sense of peace. Thin smoke lingers on the red chimney standing out amid the pine forest. This is a solid, complete house, built from will and human hands. The journey has ended, but the survival story continues. Subscribe to the channel and join me in exploring more challenges, secrets, and valuable lessons from the deep forest.